and stuff like that, they'll do it. And then if they find something else, they'll be like, okay, I'll trade paying a little bit more in healthcare for a bigger salary in the private sector versus taking a little bit less on my salary, but having, better healthcare in the federal government or whatever. But, you just got to weigh what works best for you. You know me, I don't need healthcare because I get that through the VA. So I'm like, nah, I'm in it for the money and not necessarily the healthcare. And it depends on your family and what you got going on in life too. If you got a huge family, then healthcare would be your driving factor, as opposed to somebody that don't got kids. They focusing on the money. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So
Yeah, but what I was saying is also, Marlon, is
I'll let Mel finish.
can I just say one thing, Collins? I won't take 3 hours like dang, all the other stuff wasn't necessary. But what I was gonna say is my whole point was this: do you know why? Okay, I know it's never gonna work. It's not possible. All this stuff. Yeah, I get all that. But do you know why the idea is even there to let people go to work? Or it's not working. I get it. You don't have to explain to me how it works. But do you know why, if it would work, why they would have done that? I just want to hear your take on that. Do you know why it even came up? Why that's one of his initiatives? From your standpoint, why do you think Trump wanted this to happen this way? I just want to see how you think about it.
you asking me, or you asking someone else?
You from
I mean,
I hear from your standpoint.
They probably tracking trends and all of that. Like the cybersecurity attack, they probably be like, you could have been in office where you had a supervisor monitoring what you're doing. That could be a reason. Maybe he just stuck in his ways on doing the old things. And then, like I say, there's a lot of federal agencies that got a lot of made up jobs, a lot of made up agencies that either do the same thing, more established federal agencies do. It's just wasting tax dollars. So it's probably you get better accountability on what's going on.
I feel like it's just simple. It's about it's.
What'd you say, Mitch?
I think it's just about I think it's just about government spending. It's about money. All this other stuff doesn't matter. It's about government spending. How much the country as a whole, people like Elon are so business oriented. That's where the key thing is. You gotta understand. He runs Tesla. He runs this. So in his mindset, he will come in and try to run the government as a business, as a company, because technically it's a company. So that's where most of it is government spending. Most people, like, it's just when a company lays people off, it might not work in the government sector, right? Like my mom was saying something about you lose money because hiring and stuff. But in other companies, the very first thing they do, like billion-dollar companies, the very first thing they do when they go and get a loss, they get rid of the salaries because now they don't have to pay that salary. They will suffer for a little bit, but that's why, even like the remote, the automated jobs are coming in, the AI is coming in, because Walmart doesn't have to hire 7 people. They can have one robot do one job. That was my whole point. So I don't think it's that, maybe it is that deep, but yeah, the cybersecurity and stuff, but I don't think people like Trump are security oriented, they're business oriented. So their whole idea is to save money because the government is spending. I mean, on paper, it's clear Doge was made because the government is spending so much money. That's the key right there. So everything just comes into play. Now, is it going to work? Yeah, you have your difference of all the examples you gave us how things work. Of course, executive orders usually don't even go through, to be honest with you. They'll just get delayed, and it gets out of office. I get that. That's what my whole point is. But Collins, you can go ahead. I just had to take that off my chest.
Any thoughts before I change the subject?
I was laughing at Bang saying made up jobs.
Well, I saw they sued to the unions that Bang was talking about. They said they sued the government about that executive order. But go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Which is one about the federal workers?
Yeah, they
yeah,
sued.
the whole
the union
this whole thing
suing
Trump
about it.
Yeah, they're suing the government.
Yeah, they're suing Trump.
Yeah, because the union don't be working.
Yeah, with the government or something.
So here's my question for everybody.
Earlier.
Look, I want everybody's thoughts on this because there's a lot going on. There's so many changes that's happening and trying to happen because of Trump. Now, do y'all think that within this year, is this country gonna, you know, succeed more and become better, or is it gonna go into another crisis or anything like that?
Are you saying
Which
economically
can go
or
first?
war? What?
Economically and just the whole, you know, population. Like, what do you think is gonna
Uh-huh.
happen this year with everybody having to go back into the office and, you know, and as far as the economy, I think me personally, I think it's gonna get expensive. That's what I think. Because
I
that's the
mean,
subject that a lot of people like are big on right now. Like, oh, Trump is in office, like things is gonna get cheaper, but I don't believe so. I think the
but
economy is just gonna be shit forever.
don't you think things are expensive right now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, I mean, wouldn't you think he's trying to make things more affordable or helping the economy?
And that's the whole point of shutting down, you know, these made up federal positions.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think is the what he's trying to do is review what we're spending internally first in
Mm-hmm.
terms of what taxpayers are paying, because taxpayers pay the federal employees. If you
Mm-hmm.
got all these positions that are made up and all of this shit, federal employees not doing their job, you're paying people and they ain't doing their job,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
is really wasting money. But if he clean up in house first, then he can relook at, okay, now we could reduce taxes. Oh, now we could do this. Now we could do that. So what he's doing from the strategic standpoint it should reduce the cost of living, because now
Yeah.
you're redistributing funds that taxpayers are paying for. So instead of paying for, you know, federal employees and different
Who ain't
jobs,
doing
the
shit?
money goes somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They could reduce certain things, and then so from
But
that
you're
standpoint, I think he's trying to clean up in-house, and then he's also looking at out-house. What are we paying China for? Why are we
Mm-hmm.
paying China for imports and this and that when we could be paying this person this and get it cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
So all around, he's trying to clean up house in and internally and externally. So it should reduce um, the cost of living and how expensive things are in the U.S. But is it guaranteed? I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I feel like everybody be in it for themselves.
Yeah, and it's a big job.
You
Um,
so Bang, you're
because
oh go ahead.
I was gonna say because like it sounds like what they're really doing is trying to make the government more efficient, and it's like almost like a business. But you're running the country is a like the country in its own is like a company, and you're trying to get to the bottom of why is the company not operating the
Mm-hmm.
most efficient way. And if you look at it, housing is expensive, cars are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Usually by 30 years old, back then, by 30, most people will have a house and a family. But now
Yep.
most kids don't have houses. They're living with their parents, if you look at it, because we can't even afford a house by 30, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough for the youth to get a house, to get stable, because the economy is just so it's surprising. Like we do interviews over here, people have master's degrees and they can't get a job. Back then you
Can't
got a
get a
master's
fucking
degree,
job.
you
You
set.
automatically getting hired. Yep.
So
Degree right
something,
now,
yeah.
times of change. Degrees, man. You know how much people I know that got degrees and they either struggling to get a job or they doing something outside of what their degree is because they just can't find a job.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole country is a business, and that's why I think Trump and Elon Musk is the perfect people to do it, man. You got to run this shit as a
Like a
business.
business.
All these other presidents and all that don't have a business mindset or don't have no military background shouldn't run for president, because it's a business. Everything is trade. Everything is spending and, you know, profits and loss
And negotiation.
and negotiations. And that's what Trump do. Trump be negotiating, although people don't like him talking to Russia and all these other countries that we might have been at odds with or don't see eye to eye with. At the end of the day, it's a business. You not if you open up a company, you're not gonna like every company that sells the same thing as you. Sometimes, if you can't beat them, you got to join them,
Mm-hmm.
and it would make more sense. Okay, I don't like the way they do it, but let's come together. Let's figure out a way so we could, you know, supersede over these your competitors. It's a business, bro. No matter how you want to look at it, this whole thing is a business, and I'd rather a businessman run the country than someone that got a degree and a medical degree or some whatever it is. Because I don't even know what all the requirements is to be president. But
To be rich.
You lucky got you lucky gotta be a businessman. I just had to say that. I just had to say that.
That's valid.
But
People,
Obama,
I mean,
what's
I
Obama
think
background?
I think it's just being
He's
run
law
by. They
though.
all have businesses. If you really kind of,
No,
yeah,
but
but they all have
his
businesses.
background
You
is,
can't be a
law,
president. You
right?
can't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, attorneys and all this stuff, but I think the background really is these people already have money. Of course, Trump and Elon, yeah, they stand as the bigger business people, but it almost looks like everybody who's the president, when you start looking at it, they already had companies. So it's like, I guess that's kind of the part of the game. I mean, they get into politics because they get bored, I guess, but then most of them start off as, businessmen. No, I'm
Bang, are you
agreeing
a
with what
civil
you're saying, but
servant?
it's interesting that most people who've been presidents actually have businesses already.
But I think the difference, personally, is like us. The difference now with Trump versus all these other presidents was like most of it was insiders. Like Biden has been in the government since the '80s, so it's like
Yeah,
who
the
knows
insiders.
who.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's a good
Trump is,
point. That's a good point.
yeah, Trump is coming out from like his own. He doesn't have friends with these people. It's almost like a company. Like it's pretty much nepotism. All these years, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, they probably all went to the same schools and they all shook hands. And this guy just came out of nowhere. He's not part of their group,
And
And
that's a good point. That's a good point, Mitch. He's probably the first president that didn't go through, okay, I used to run for mayor. Oh, I used to run for governor. Oh, now I'm running for this office. Now I'm running. He really just came in as a businessman and won versus the traditional way of becoming a president or working your way
a
through
politician, yeah.
a politician. So that's a very true
He
statement.
came with more of like money and influence, like
Right,
very
right.
like popular vote type stuff rather than, the political way.
Yeah, he was
Nah,
big
you
with pop culture, and he also has a lot of money. It's just the reason why I asked this question in the first place because everybody that's happy right now is billionaires.
I think most people that are like happy more than anything is business owners and people who kind of went through the actual experience of doing things outside of the typical, oh, I'm going to go get a degree, I'm going to work a corporate job, I'm going to work myself up the ladder. Those are people who kind of more or less see how difficult it is to be successful in this world without having that same pathway. And things are different now. Everyone is more self-employed or want to do their thing. Not everyone wants to. I mean, people don't even want to work anymore. So
That's true. And then you got to look at social media, whether that's streaming, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the case. It took a lot of the working force away from the private sectors as well as the government. If you look at it as well too. So I mean, shit. If I grew up in Marlo's times, I wouldn't want to work my damn self. I would be in a YouTube or some shit or a
Right.
game or something. I wouldn't have
And-
took the traditional way, getting a 9 to 5, trying to go to school, I wouldn't have did that bullshit.
and it's way easier now to make money without having to follow that typical protocol. And if you look at it, everybody's their own business owner nowadays. Like we all have some type of brand. We do music or we sell dogs or you know what I'm saying. We do podcasts. Like even if you have a regular job, there's a reason why you're thinking, I want to do this. Because I've been talking to people. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I do. I sell dogs or. I do fix houses on the side. Like everyone does something on the side.
Yeah, just having the resources to take the risk too, and I think that's what a lot of people don't want to do. To leave a good job or an okay job to chase your dream, but you still need money.
That's the tough
to
part
kind of
about
keep you afloat. That's the hardest part about it, I think.
And that's really why people work right now. They're not working out of passion. They're working because they need money. But if they can get their side hustle or their business or whatever they passionate about going, they'll leave that job in an instant.
They'll
Bro,
jump
that's
on
me.
it.
I said, bro, if I can make the money I make on my job on a side hustle consistently, I wouldn't be working, bro. I'd be doing my side hustle. But most people would be like, okay, I'm going to build my business up to where I'm either going to come close to what I'm making and then I'm gonna do it full time and work my way there, or I'm gonna just wait until I get close enough, then leave the job. Because I mean, to leave a good job, especially if you got a whole family. Now, if you're
Yeah.
just single, young, no kids, when you fail it, you only affect yourself. When you fail is a husband, father, whatever the case might be, your kids and your family kind of take the shitty end of the stick on that. But that's just how it is.
That's how the system is set up. It was made
That's how
that way. That whole 9 to 5 mentality, but everybody's trying to do something different.